Okay, once again, this is Mr. Elmhorst with the help video for the homework assignment, ratios, activities, and we're looking at scuba gear, and it's called Get Into Gear. So above, I prefer to use the word total. Both are interchangeable, so we're gonna do part to part and part to total. So down below, we're going to be identifying mask, fins, tanks, and then also all scuba gear. So the first one is striped. It's striped with one P, so it's a long I. Striped mask to solid color mask. Then we go to number 2, we have fins to all fins. We have solid fins. And how many solid or no pattern fins do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And how many total fins are there? The ratio is going to be 5 to 9. And is that going to be, because it's compared fins to fins, is that going to be part to part or part to total? Part to total. Star tanks to solid color tanks. So we go down below and we look at the scuba tanks. And we have 2 star tanks and 3 solid color tanks. 2 starred, 3 solid color. Is that going to be part to part or part to total? Part to part. So we look at the swimming goggles or the mask, and it says spotted, which we have 1, 2, and then there's striped 1, 2. 2 to 2, and that is going to be part to part. Solid color tanks to all tanks. There's 1, 2, 3, 3 solid colors to 10 total tanks. Now, because it's only talking about tanks and tanks, then we're going to treat this as a total as all tanks. Starred fins to striped fins. How many starred fins are there? 2. How many striped fins? 2, 2, 2. And that's going to be part to part. Fins, now it's being compared to all of the scuba gear. How many pairs of fins are there? 9. And how many pieces of equipment are there? It should be 9 pairs of fins out of 26 pieces of scuba gear, and that's going to be part 2 total. Striped tanks to all tanks. So going on to page 2, we're going to make a long table, sort of, and we're going to identify what are the parts that are being compared. There's 2 dozen eggs and there's some cost. So within the table, you're going to label eggs and cost. Those are the two parts of information, two pieces. So now you got eggs and cost labeled in there, and now we're going to fill out the given information. Within the context of eggs and cost, there's 2 dozen, which is multiplying 2 times what number? Which is 24 eggs. So we have 24 eggs, and then the cost is $1.50. Right now we have done zero math, but we've set up a table and then labeled it. So now we're going to look for the solve or the predicting part. What if we had $6? So the cost is down here. The cost is $6. So we fill in the table and then we ask ourselves, what do we do math-wise to get from $1.50 to $6? Times 4. So to keep these ratios equivalent of cost to $6 and eggs, we're going to multiply it times 4 times 4. So it's a quick solve. Take 30 seconds. Go ahead and multiply that and fill that in. Question 2, what two things are being compared? Inches and miles. So go ahead and just fill that out here. We're going to make a table, inches and miles. So we have our two parts of information within the context, inches and miles. And now we're going to fill in the given information. 1 inch is 16 miles. How many miles apart are the two cities if there's 4.5 inches? So now there's a prediction. We're going to solve. If we had 1 inch is 16 miles, then how many miles would be 4.5 inches? Mathematically, what do we need to do? 4.5 times 16. Go ahead and take 30 seconds, work that out. So you multiply these two out. 6 times 5 is 30, carry the 3. 6 times 4 is 24, plus 3 is 27. And then 1 times 5 and 1 times 4. There's one decimal place value. So the measurement of 4.5 inches would be 72 miles. So looking at the context for question number 3, we actually have 3 pieces of information, girls, boys, and total. So the given information is 18 girls and 30 students, or 30 total. Well, it doesn't tell you how many boys there are, but you would need 30 minus 18 to figure out what the missing boys is. So 18 plus 12 is 30. Now, looking at your answer choices, the answer choices are in tenths and hundredths. What's an easy math thing we could do to change our total from 30 down to 10? Divide by 3. So if we take the total number of students and divide by 3, then what is 18 divided by 3? 12 divided by 3? 4. And then this would be out of tenths. If we had 6 tenths and 4 tenths, then we'd have 60% and 40%. Now we go to the question, what's the ratio of boys to total? 4 out of 10, or 4 tenths. Okay, we're just going to set up the last two ratios and then you guys are going to solve. So up here, keep it organized. Boys to girls. Now, it doesn't say anything about total, so we can leave it right there. So boys to girls. And the ratio is boys first, so that's 5 and then 8. The given ratio, do you have more boys or more girls? Okay, there's more girls. So if you look at here, option choice A, there's 30 and 48. That ratio is not equivalent. So now we need to look at, are you multiplying by 3 or are you multiplying by 4? So if we multiply 5 times 3, if there's 15 boys, then there's supposed to be 24 girls. Is that 24 girls? No. And the last example for today and for this video, the ratio of walnuts to raisins. You could do WA for walnuts and RA for raisins. The ratio is given. Which one is first? Walnuts is 3 and raisins is 5. Do we have more walnuts or more raisins? We have more raisins. So if you look here, 12 is less than 20. That's not going to be equal ratio. And 36 is not is 36 is less than 60. So now we need to decide, are we multiplying raisins by 5 or are we multiplying raisins by 4? So let's multiply raisins by 5 and see what we get. Walnuts is 3 times 5 is 15, and looks like we should have our answer from there where we have 15 walnuts and 25 raisins.